for tonight. We will now transition into the community meeting to allow, I guess, the public to make statements and or ask questions that we can look into. Thank you.
So again, to the extent that we can answer questions, I mean, honestly, we'll do the best that we can through the process to answer the questions. What we can say at a very high level was that, again, there was an investigation, that as a result of the investigation, actions have been taken and former staff members have been disciplined. The board is really interested. First of all, I want to say also this, on behalf of the board, on behalf of Trine, specifically there are families who have done more than most to help the school stand. The Turner family is one of them. Without them, LCIS would not be here. Trish Turner, Ryan Turner have put blood, sweat, and tears in this building, and everywhere you can feel them and everywhere you can see them. And those of you who are grateful or who love LCIS and who love sending your children here should thank them for that, because they built something that we should all be very, very proud of. And so to the extent that there are bad feelings with regard to moving forward, don't, because they have, we owe them a gratitude of thanks. We owe them a debt of thanks. Having said that, moving forward, and we do want to move forward, it is very common in schools that the founding board is not the same board as the board that moves you forward into the future. And that's where LCIS is. LCIS is in a place of growth, and its founding board is not going to be the same board that moves it into the future. So as you can see, there were 2 board resignations today, but there is an open call out there for board members. This community has always stood behind this school. We don't expect any of that to change. We expect this community to still stand behind this school, because at the end of the day, this school is this community.
Yeah.
So, we certainly want to hear public comment. Most of it will be writing down and taking in. So if you don't hear a response, it's not because no one's listening. It's because right now is the time for us to listen and take things back. So if you'd like to say something, we can do that. I think probably we've got the mics here, or if you just want to stand where you are and say your name, and we'll record that and what your comment is. We'll make sure that that's recorded, and see what we can do about making sure that you have as much information as you can to move forward.
So why was Tracy treated so poorly when she left after the meeting today? Why was she escorted out after doing everything she could for this school? You writing that down? Okay. I also would like to know, during the investigation, did you actually interview Tricia? Someone answer. I'm looking for answers.
Does anybody else have a comment that they'd like to make?
So you're going to ignore me?
Does anybody else have a comment that they'd like to make? Yes.
During the administrative leave, why wasn't the public informed that the administrative leave taken place by the 2 LCIS employees? I believe to gain public trust, they should have at least been advised that those administrative leaves have taken place. Instead of a month and a half and me being a media individual, I got the concerns from internally inside the school. Topics and things were discussed among students and staff, and then the public itself did not know anything that was going on within the school corporation. So my question is, by Indiana law, are you required, whenever any disciplinary action and action taken by the board, is the public supposed to be notified as such?
Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that advice moving forward. Does anybody else have any questions or a comment?
So are we going to have public comments during school board meetings now, or are those now terminated, or is it only going to be whenever there's some issues that there's going to be a public comment period?
So
Why has this changed today?
So the process of the board is to always have public comment. In this particular board meeting, it didn't make sense to have public comment in a community meeting after, so we're just doing it all at one time. It's efficiency's sake.
So why wasn't Tricia interviewed?
So I can't give you details about who was.
I just want to know why.
I can't give you details about the investigation itself.
I didn't ask for details. I asked why wasn't she interviewed?
What I can say is every stakeholder that had anything to say with regard to the allegations was interviewed.
So which,
Yes, the witch hunt.
So you had said that people in the community were also interviewed. Who judged who in the community was interviewed?
What I can say is that everyone who was a stakeholder with regard to the allegations that
But the
had-
community wasn't even made aware of anything.
that had information with regard to the specific allegations was
They were
So it
rumors.
was a witch hunt.
They were rumors.
And you guys
And you
went off
destroyed
rumors.
someone's life based on rumors. All of you, and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
I don't know how you.
There are 2 board members up there right now who shouldn't even be there. Shouldn't be there. And you should look into that.
I understand your frustration.
No, you don't.
You don't.
I personally don't live it. I get it. But I understand your frustration.
You know, what's going to become of this school when a few rumors can take someone down? What teachers say? What students say? Okay? From this rumor mill you've got going on. Okay? Something's got to give. You guys let it go on while she was on administrative leave. You let the teachers say what they wanted to say. Some of the teachers say what they wanted to say. Why? When kids were coming home telling their parents about it, I heard it from my grandchildren.
So let me say very clearly and unequivocally, no actions were taken based on rumors. None. No actions were taken based on rumors, and no actions were taken based on anything except what can be proven as fact. Period.
You can
Bullshit.
prove those allegations as facts.
You can prove everything. You've got it on tape.
Or
You've
you're
got
just
the
taking a
interviews on
statement
tape?
that somebody
Are
is
they
saying
recorded?
and saying it's true.
Sitting there taking these questions. Those guys don't deserve the brunt of this. They've done a lot. There's other people that should be sitting at
Yes,
that
they
table
have done a lot.
Taking questions. Or ignoring us too.
So who made the judgment?
So
Is the board the ones that voted on their
here's the thing.
terminations?
This is a community meeting. And so I certainly want to hear from as many people as possible, but I'd like for you to give opportunity for other folks to talk to. So if there's anybody else who wants to talk, or if there's anybody else who wants to say anything, then we can certainly do that. If you guys want to have a private meeting with the board, we can fix that. But right now is not the opportunity for
Have a private.
It's the good old boys board now.
I want
okay?
the
That's the
community.
way they wanted it. Now they've got it.
Sir, that's not
Okay.
true. They've done a lot. They've done a lot.
Okay, they have done a lot.
And to be clear, there are legal obligations that are required of the board because this is a public school receiving public taxpayer dollars. So it would be unlawful for this to be what you are calling it.
Okay.
So I just want to be really clear that we are
Yeah,
making
yeah.
sure that
Okay.
everything is happening in accordance
Okay.
with the law.
Right.
And
Okay.
also-
As long as it's being overseen by someone.
It is, sir.
Okay.
Changes always are made from the top, okay? People don't leave something, they leave managers. So with this many people leaving in the last few years, something else needs to be looked into. And there's someone over the board. They're not the see all do all here.
I agree with you.
So, who wants to hand in their resume to be on the board? Because seriously, guys, we need to rebuild. We need to rebuild. We need to reconstitute. We've got a building with 240 some odd kids that we need to rebuild for. We're not here for us. We're here for those kids.
Apart.
I hear you. I hear you.
It really is.
I hear you.
My husband is on the county board of nutrition.
And me, I was on the board as well.
I was too.
I know more than I'll ever say. And these guys, they don't get enough credit for what they do. I'm telling you guys that. They don't. You have your opinions. I know from the inside, they don't get enough credit. And I will say that for the rest of my life, okay?
I'm
Don't
not
take it
doubting
out
what
on them.
they've done in the past. I'm talking about the present. Okay? I realize what went on in the past. Okay? Trish is my daughter.
I know.
I know what went on. I know how it was handled.
Unfortunately, the truth is going to come out the wrong way.
Exactly.
Not for them. It's going to come out the
I
wrong
don't,
way. And
I
it's gonna
don't
be
want,
the wrong
I
way.
want them to back up their decisions and give us
The
reasons.
truth always comes out. We just have to be patient. They
No,
may not give it to
no,
us, but
no,
it will
we
come
don't
out.
have to be.
And again, I'm not holding the board to anything. I know. I've been there with those guys. And I know when people came at us, and I don't understand personally why they went down to 5, but that's just a question personally for me. I think there needs to be more people on the board that have
Right.
more opinion.
You're right. I would love for you to
And it
put in
needs
your
to be a more
resume to get on the
diversified
board.
board also.
I would love for you to put your resume to get on the board.
I was, and I'm seeing what it is now, and there's a reason why I left.
So the important thing to realize is, as a community, guys, this is your school, your community. This is your control. You have the control.
How many board members will we have?
So that's a good question. The charter allows you to have as little as 3 and as many as 9. So anywhere in that number. What board members were specifically looking for, folks with education experience, folks who have a pretty good pulse and beat on the community, and folks who understand the community and know what the community needs and wants, folks who have experience with regard to finances, CPAs, accountants, those folks are always helpful. Folks who have any legal knowledge, if there's any lawyers out there or paralegals out there who have some legal knowledge, those are good folks to always have on the board. And of course, folks who have any information about business and business operations and how things run. And then of course, there's folks who work and teach in schools or in other schools, not particularly LCIS because it's a conflict, but folks who teach and work in schools and have information about education. Those are all folks that we're also looking for on the board. In addition to reconstituting the board is also going to go through a process of revamping policies. There are going to be new policies in place that are conflict of interest policies, that are policies with regard to workspace relationships, policies with regard to financial and fiscal responsibility, and how, requests for funds are put in, and the process and steps that have to be taken for any funds to be spent and reimbursed. Those things are going to all be put in place as we work with the new board to reconstitute. In the middle, while we're looking for and trying to reconstitute the board, Kevin Davis of Indiana Charters is going to be working to help fill in the gaps that we might have. Kevin, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about what Indiana Charters does and how it works and what it's been doing with the school, that might be really helpful for folks to hear.
Sure, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm talking pretty loud, former coach. Our company has been involved with your school since you started thinking about it. I got contacted early on that. We've been in business since 2015, helping people start charter schools and then keep their infrastructure lean so they can survive as a small charter school. Unfortunately, it's not terribly uncommon for charter schools or public schools or businesses to lose key employees. So one of the things we try to make sure we do is be able to patch and fill in some of those holes that will necessarily be created by some resignations. We can do that. We have 8 people that have been working with your school behind the scenes in all of those areas anyway. We're involved with your payroll, we're involved with your finances, we're the ones that present the financial reports along the way. So we tend to stay behind the scenes on that. We'll come a little more forward. You'll see me more often here as we start to patch that hole and catch things up for you. The school's in a strong financial position right now, and we can continue moving forward and do a good job. So thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, Bill, I have a question for you. You might be able to get the answer.
Can you find out with the 3 school corporations in Lawrence County what their turnover rates are? Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the community or address the board?
I just want to say that this is my first year teaching at LCIS. I've been a 3rd and 4th grade teacher for 13 years and was ready for a change, so I came here from Monroe County. And I do think this is a really special place. And the community that I see here and the love that I see for all of our students and just kind of the joy that happens in these hallways and the learning that happens, it is really special. And I know we're going through this really hard time right now, but I just want to address the community and let you know from an insider's perspective that it is a really wonderful place to be. And I hope it can just be kind of all about the kids and we can focus on that.
I'll just say, as a parent, I'm a substitute here, and yeah, Jerry resigned from the board so we could be an LCIS parent instead of an LCIS board family. But I love this school. I've always loved this school. I will continue to love this school. I'm not always happy with the choices that are made, let me say, but I will always appreciate the hell out of the board. And I will always appreciate the people running this school
And the
because it
teachers.
has changed my daughter's life. It has changed her life. Next year is her last year here, and I don't even know how she'll be already because she is not only loved and taught and supported, but she is loved well. She is loved well.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else, we definitely want to hear it. It doesn't sound like there's much else. Do you want to say something else?
Speak really quickly. Can you all hear me if I don't use the microphone? Perfect, because microphones are my arch nemesis. I just want to say really quickly, thank you first and foremost for your comment as a parent and just an involved community member. I think what you just shared and what, we had a staff member share also, but what you shared is the sentiment of many, even though we might not be hearing from all of those folks. And it really just speaks to what we believe to be true, which is that there genuinely is a need for this school in this community, right? We know this school is serving kids well, and we would love to see this school continue to flourish and be able to do that. And that only happens with you all folks. I mean, I know that sounds maybe cliche, but it genuinely only happens by folks like you all deciding that you want to continue to invest in this school and doing that by supporting the school, joining the board, right? If you happen to have the qualifications and the interest to take on a board position and submit your resume like Alex has mentioned, it happens by you continuing to choose this as your high quality option for where you send your kids to school, right? Honestly, this school would not exist. I mean, Alex already mentioned this earlier, but it genuinely would not exist with many of the folks who are not with us today. And we all know that to be true. Their blood, time, sweat, tears literally painted the walls of this gym and every hallway you see in this school, right? And that doesn't go in vain. We truly would never have authorized this school or bought into this school without really believing in those folks who helped found this school, right? But what we know is that, unfortunately, we are where we are today, right? And we cannot necessarily change the position that the school is currently in, but what we can do is recognize that this board has taken very difficult action and had to go through really rigorous processes to make sure that they were really following appropriate protocols, getting to the bottom of all of the allegations that were made, and there were a significant number of allegations made, and really doing their due diligence, because they owe that to you all as members of the public. And they owe that to this community and to the kids in this community, right? I can assure you that the board has done that. They have taken appropriate steps. They have made decisions based on factual information and evidence that was collected as a result of the investigation, not as a result of the rumor mill or hearsay or thoughts people had about what was happening, but actual evidence. And now all we can do as a community is continue to move forward, right? So today is a hard day, and rightfully so. It's a hard day for many of us for a variety of reasons. But after today, tomorrow we wake up and we have to continue to move forward. We believe this school belongs in this community, and that you all should be able to continue to serve kids in such a beautiful way that you have been doing. We would love to see that continue for years to come. But it only continues if you continue to build, right? So we had amazing founders who really did a great job of setting that foundation, but now it's on you all at this point to continue to build it up. And so I know, tonight it's just a lot of processing is happening, and I think that's fine, that's valid. But I hope that moving forward, folks will come forward who have the qualifications in education or business or finance or legal or whatever your specific set of qualifications are, that you will really think about it and come forward and submit your resume and potentially join the board, because without the board and all the work that this board is doing, we wouldn't have a school. So something to consider as you move forward today.
Okay, so if there's no other comments, certainly, and there are some of you who may not want to make a public comment, and that's totally fine. You'll see some board members milling about, so if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to Lindsay, if you want to talk to Corey or Brian or Jason, happy to listen. But more than anything, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your efforts. And I think Lindsay said it best. Tomorrow is a brand new day. And, every day we try to make it better than the last. So, thanks for coming.